Do we have
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the last meeting of the season for the Education, Youth and Libraries Committee. And believe me when I tell you, these guys deserve a break.
Yes.
They have worked so hard this year. It's impressive. So I want to start by thanking the members of my committee for the incredible work that you've done this past year. Thank you, Donna. We'll talk more about that specifically. In addition, this is a celebration for us. We really want to take this meeting, every last meeting of the year, we don't meet in July and August, to look back on the work that we've done. Sharice is going to add to their newsprint there. We're going to ask some specific questions of you guys. What we did this season, what we did well, what we need to do better, what things we didn't address. And we'll put the headings on top, but we really will use that information as we begin to look in September and future planning. One of the things that has guided us through our agendas this year is looking at what the community said were the top 3 issues facing our community as it relates to youth and education and libraries. The number one reason, but the one big issue, after school funding. You guys have heard me say this, but we came back to a meeting in September to find out that at least 700 families that we know about no longer had after school programs and services. And our principals and teachers and not-for-profits reached out to us to ask us to work with them to figure out how to address that issue. Because our schools were hurting, our families were hurting, it was chaos as parents tried to struggle to figure out what to do with their kids in the absence of that funding. So we established an after-school coalition. We'll talk a little bit about that, but again, informally. Really, as I said before, there are refreshments. We want you to enjoy that. We really want to talk about fellowship, and in an informal kind of way. So the top, besides after school funding, educational attainment was another one that came up. The way we identify these issues, we do a survey that we send to the community and ask them to identify what those top issues are. And then we get that information. We work with the Department of City Planning to do that. And we will identify the overall issues in the community, but also specific to policy areas. So in addition to after school funding, which becomes sort of a crisis, in addition to the number one identified need in the community, educational attainment. Folks wanted to know how we know how many kids in our community graduate from high school. And how many kids, if they don't go on to high school, what careers are they going on? What resources are there to, and then finally, if they do go to college, in particular. And we don't have that information. You know, there really isn't, we've done our literature search, but one of the things we've advocated is for the city and DYCD to give funding to find out that data, like what is it? What are the real stats? Because we realize we can't begin to address the issue unless we know how deep it is and where it is and why it is. So we advocated for that last year. Did not receive funding, but we will ask again until we receive funding. But we really feel we can't do the hard work until we've had the hard data. So we're talking to lots of folks about how we get that data. Working in collaboration with the district, with DOE, with DYCD, with Columbia, whoever will talk to us. We want that information we build some forward. And then the third issue had to do with trauma-informed instruction. And this came about several years ago when we realized that children going to school in Harlem were 4 times more likely than kids in other part of the city to have witnessed a violent crime or be adjacent to violent crime or something happening. And as a result of that, basically looking at how do we deal with it? We talked about having a social worker in every school, but beyond social work, what are the kinds of practices and programs that need to exist to address that fact, which for me is just amazing when you think about it. the impact of it so that we better educate ourselves, we educate our principals, we have a better sense. So those were the three issues that we looked at this year and were identified in the district needs. And then we want to begin to think about other things that we haven't talked about that may exist. We looked at our schools. Dana's going to talk about our school visit that happened in May. But many people haven't been in public school. If you haven't been in public school in the last 15 years, you need to visit and you need to know what's going on in our district. But in a large sense, many of our buildings are in such bad shape. And you know, ideally for me, I think our buildings should reflect our sense of endless possibility for our children. And if it doesn't, you know, we reached out to the school construction authority, asking them, what projects are you working on in schools in Harlem? We want to know specifically what the schools are, what the projects are, what the timeline. And we have been, it's been interesting to try to figure out what that process and that agency looks like. It's been challenging. We'll give you the annual budget. Well, I don't want the annual budget. I just want to know what schools are working on and what is and what happens. We successfully raised $50 million for a project that we know is a multi-million dollar project. And so we asked the question, so now we got the money, what happens? Getting the answer to that took us maybe 6 months to figure out what happens now. We need to raise money. We know it's multi-year. Do we go back to the same sources? What happens to the money? What does the city do? How is it outlined? What is the status? We could take a whole staff person just to deal with that and the 6 schools where we found funding to find out where they are on the schedule, what the timeline is, how we raise more money. And I say this to say that I think there's a real role for this committee. Our principals often struggle with having a teacher shortage where they find out at 10 o'clock they don't have a teacher and they got to combine 2 classrooms. And I say that to say, so to get them to sit down and talk about an application for funding, when we look at that, it's for us, we're going like, what? Like who can do this? Our role has been to support our principals in making those applications, but we could also have a staff role, which then falls to the volunteer to track it. You know, once the money is there, that's just step one. There's a whole bunch, you know, it could fall off the schedule unless someone is aggressively tracking it and holding folks accountable. And I think that's a role for this committee. And some of the things that we've tried to do and some of the things we want to really begin to institutionalize within the committee over the next year. So that's where we've sort of been. Sharice, if I forgot, I forgot, you want to talk about the Google time and the tour guide?
Yeah, I mean, going kind of as we're still in the welcome, we just went to the Guggenheim. Again, one of the things that we are reimagining about this committee is we don't want to be reactive. Like we're tired of being reactive. So how do we come up with like a little 5-year working plan of how, like some of the things that we need to do? One of those things is building a better relationship with District 5, right? So we've been trying to really work on that partnership and let them know that we are an advocate for them. Understand kind of the things that they're going through. We have a deputy superintendent who is big into arts and making sure access to arts. That's a natural partnership with us, right? We have education. We also have what's our arts committee?
Arts and culture?
Arts and Culture Committee. And just looking at ways to also be partner with the committees within community boards. Anyway, that being said, we went to the Guggenheim. Last year we went to the Metropolitan Museum for the Harlem Renaissance, and the kids dressed up. It was it was like I cried. Like I was too done. So this year we went to the Guggenheim and they were able to just run rampant through the Guggenheim, which is also a beautiful site. They have a new artist exhibit. I keep Rashid Jones, and he's the first Black person who's taking up the rotunda.
So we have did y'all want that now? show
The
the
picture, we got
photos.
pictures, we want to show people pictures.
But before you get started, I don't know if you forgot, but we need to introduce the board
Oh,
members.
thank you very much. See, thank
This
you.
is a long
That's why,
welcome.
that's why we have
This is an
staff.
intro.
This is still welcome.
Intro too long.
Okay. I will pause for the intro.
We have to go back. And so, Miguel is absolutely right. It's important to know who's in the room. I apologize. It was purple Kool-Aid, baby.
Yeah.
So I will begin. My name is Stephanie Palmer. I am the chair of Education, Youth and Libraries Committee for Community Board 10.
What other committees are you on?
Oh, I'm also on the Budget and Government.
Budget and government.
Budget and government.
This that meeting.
Period.
I'm also on the
Period.
Budget and Government.
Name alert.
Community Board 10.
New name alert. Sharice Wyckoff, proud vice chair of Education, Youth and Libraries. And I'm on land use.
Catrice Davis, proud member of Education, Youth and Libraries, and also the vice chair of Health and Human Services.
Also a teacher in our district, absolutely. Or principal.
Assistant.
Assistant.
I'm Dana Points. I'm on this committee and I'm a vice chair of the land use committee.
Brenda L. Jones, I'm on this committee as well as Health and Human Services and proud member of both.
Yes.
Yeah.
Proud member of what?
Both.
Brenda is a new committee member, a
Yes,
new
ma'am.
board member.
Yes.
Brenda?
Yes.
I'm Mario Johnson. I'm a member of this committee and also, so this is Education, Youth and Libraries. I'm also on Health and Human
That's
Services.
right.
See that connection.
Yes.
My name is Leticia Gilmore. I am a new board member. I am part of this committee. Today was graduation for my children. I do not know what the other committee is. I am educational coordinator at a preschool in Harlem.
Aaliyah Horsford Sidbury. I am a new board member and part of this committee and also Economic Development and Technology Committee.
And an elected official.
And an elected, yeah. Democrat. Yeah.
Wow. Oh, my God. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Darrell T. Downey. I am a member of this committee. It's my first time out this year
Yes.
in person. I'm also a member of the Arts and Culture Committee. Okay, so now
We have guests that have been more like members. who-
Our chair is on.
Oh, okay. I want to first acknowledge board members who are on Zoom. Is there someone besides our chair? That's not our chair.
No, that's it.
Just our chair? Our chair? We are proud to say that the chair of Community Board 10 is also a proud member of Education.
And an educator.
Yes. I'm so sorry I'm not there. I'm still in my office and it was a lot and I'm also preparing for some other meetings. But I'm a part of this committee. I've been a part of this committee since I've been on the board since 2012. Been on this committee and I was once the vice chair of this committee when I first started. And I'm also currently on the government and budget committee. I just want to first say again, apologize that I'm not there in person for our last committee meeting, but also I wanted to definitely, the first person I noticed in this meeting when I looked on was brother Darrell T. Downing. I want to thank you for being, I'm so grateful to see you. You look good. Good to be, I'm glad you're in the presence and I'm sorry that I'm not there with you, but I was going to acknowledge it before he said it. So thank you. And this board member has been dedicated even when he couldn't be there. He was on all of our meetings and we're grateful for you, Darrell T. Downing. So, but I want to wish everyone, we're concluding a great school year, all of us who are actually in schools. And so, and there's a lot of work being done, but I want to just say, have a great summer if I don't talk with you all, but we do have a special board meeting next Wednesday. So we hope that everyone will be present for that meeting. So thank you. And I'm looking forward to a good meeting tonight. I'm sorry, I'm missing the goodies that are there. There's some things there.
Especially the juice.
Especially the Kool-Aid. Yeah. Especially the Kool-Aid. Um,
And the chicken.
oh, did
And
did
our
you get
guests?
everybody that's on?
Oh,
I think we
well,
did.
we start in the room.
Yeah, we're gonna start in the room. I think we got every board member. We were told that the only board member on Zoom was our chair.
Yes.
So we're gonna start with our guest, who feel more like committee members.
Right.
Oh, come on, we got, who's the longest?
Hi, guys. I'm Kenya Hill. I am the director for Heaven's Touch preschool. And to all my educators, school's out for summer and I know
High school, only for high school.
Yeah.
Only high school. Yeah, only high school.
Wow. I'm
Elementary,
sorry.
middle school still.
Yeah, 20 to the 26.
Yes.
Oh, well, I mean, I tapped out. My graduation for my baby was Friday, so they
Yes.
partying all week. My name is Nancy Patsala, and I'm the program manager at Manhattan Staten Island Area Health Education Center, and I'll be sharing later more about our organization.
Excellent, welcome. And last but certainly not least.
Mari Moss, Community Action Board for Region 9, which covers Central Harlem and East Harlem. We give federal funding to nonprofit organizations and the after-school programs. Mother of 3 little Harlem girls, and I just want to honor Congressman Ringgold's legacy at this time because he was someone that we honored at PS 175 when I served on this committee. And they were playing the A Train by Ella Fitzgerald when I was on my way, and this is Ellington on my way here, and it made me think of our congressman.
Thank you. I understand that Alex Betancourt has joined us. Alex, are you there? Yeah,
Alex, can you hear us?
no?
Janice Dior.
Yeah, is he there?
Oh,
Hi, I am here. My name is Dior Lunsford. I'm a senior program manager here at DYCD. And today I have a presentation for you all on our summer youth employment program. So whenever you're ready for me to start, you just let me know.
Right now.
Right now? Oh, okay, sounds good. I'm going to share my screen.
yeah.
Is that Alex calling from a phone?
Yes, it is. I'm in. Thank you.
Hi, Alex.
Hi, how are you, Dior?
Good to hear you.
I'm here. Stephanie,
Yes,
how are you? Long time.
I know, long time. Good to hear you. Thank you guys for taking the time tonight. Obviously,
Thank you for having us.
Oh, always. What folks may not realize is that DYCD is the largest employer of young people in the summer in the city of New York.
That's right.
School program.
Oh, yeah. And as such, we are honored to have them talk to us and provide an update on what's going on with SYK. Alex?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Dior, do you want to begin?
Yes.
Oh,
okay. Thank you.
One more before you start, Dior, and Gregory Baggett is also on the line.
Where's Gregory?
He's missing.
Gregory?
Gregory. Maybe I will come back to.
Okay.
All right. Okay, Dior.
Okay. So once again, my name is Dior Lunsford. I am honored to be here today. I actually grew up in Harlem. So I grew up in East Harlem, 110th Street and 5th Avenue. So it's always just very heart-touching to see everything that is being done for Harlem. And, I've gotten a full briefing of everything that Community Board 10 is doing. And my heart just goes out to all of you and the hard work that you're doing. But to begin, as we go through today's presentation, I'm going to break down what SYP is, the Summer Youth Employment Program, and more specifically, the impact that we're making at Community Board 10. The Summer Youth Employment Program, like you said, is the nation's largest youth employment program. This year, we are serving 100,000 participants across all 5 boroughs. And we do serve participants between the ages of 14 to 24. They are going to receive a paid summer experience, some career readiness training across the board, and just the opportunity to really dig in and start to explore different career pathways. Um, yep, as again, I'm going to break everything down as I go through today's slides. So here's just some data um, for Community Board 10 and what specifically we're doing there. As of right now, for SYP 2025, we have over 1,600 young people who reside in Community Board 10 enrolled in the program already. And this only goes to show the interest that we're seeing amongst your districts. Um, and this is not our finalized data. At the end of the summer, when we publish our annual summary, you'll see the full demographics of everything that SYP had to offer. But luckily, our deputy commissioner granted us permission to share this data with you all today. Um, so, as for our work sites, we have approximately 347 employers who have already applied to participate in SYP this year in the district, in Community Board 10's district. And we're going to dig a bit deeper into that. So, we have some of our larger work sites. And let me just take it back a bit. These sites span across multiple industries, right? So we have healthcare, government, art, education, technology, and community services. And something that we really strive to do every year as we continue to expand is diversify the placement, the industry sectors, everything that we're offering our young people. And right here, these are just some of the work sites that we have in Central Harlem. So most notably, we have Harlem Hospital, which is a critical partner for us. It allows participants into the healthcare industry to really have that early exposure just into the medical field. And then the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, which provides just insight into the legal system and careers in public service. But again, we do have a very diverse range. So on the screen here, we just have some of the smaller businesses that I'm sure a lot of you are already familiar with, like Make My Cake. When I was living in Harlem, I loved to go there to get all of our birthday cakes and just whenever we were throwing big events, the Apollo, Harlem Lacrosse, I Dare to Dream, Black to Business, Legacy House, Harlem Independent Living Center, and Melanin Serendip and Co. and Women's Venture Fund, which is one of my personal favorites. But again, these are just a few of the work sites that we have to offer that we decided to highlight today. Okay, so as for our nearby community organizations, the way SYP runs is through community-based organizations that help us place our young people all across the city. They are essentially the eyes and the ears of DYCD. They are keeping our young people safe. So for your district, for Community Board 10, some of the providers that are most well known for servicing your young people are number one, CASW, Children's Arts and Science Workshops, Madison Square Boys and Girls Club, Monshulu, Montefiore, the Police Athletic League, PAL, and the YMCA. And again, these are our vital connectors between the young people, the sites that they're placed at, the employers that they're working with, like the Harlem League, like some of the sites we shared on the previous page. They are the glue between it all, between us, between the participant, and between the work site, all to service our participants, and here specifically for Community Board 10. And then we are also in the schools. So if you aren't familiar with the model of SYP, we have our community-based initiative, which is the majority of SYP. It's our traditional lottery based, which out of the 100,000 participants, roughly 70,000 are making that up. And then we have Career Ready, which is a direct recruitment initiative. And in Career Ready, our providers, our community-based organizations, right? They are working directly with the schools. They're working directly with the principals to identify participants for the summer. And these are a few of the schools that we are currently in Community Board 10. So Urban Assembly School for the Performing Arts, Mott Hall High School, Thurgood Marshall Academy for Learning and Social Change, and as well as Frederick Douglass Academy. I'm sorry, do you have a question?
Oh, no, sorry.
Okay. So, yep. All that to say, these programs, they really do integrate the academic learning experience with that hands-on work experience that a lot of our participants crave. So that is the full of my very brief presentation. Once again, these figures that we share today, they are preliminary, and our official numbers will be published at the end of the summer once all of these moving pieces have come to a halt. And once that summary is complete, it is going to include a demographic breakdown of participants, age, gender, borough, and the sector-based jobs that they participated in over the summer. But that is all from me. If you have any questions or suggestions, the floor is open.
Thank you. Question for you, the data that's gonna be pulled later, are you able to pull it by community board? Oh, she's trying to answer.
So typically in our annual summaries, we do not pull it by community board. It's more of, it's going to be more borough based. So you'll see the percentage of our participants that are coming from Manhattan, the percentage that are coming from Brooklyn, from Bronx, from Queens, from all 5 of our boroughs, the race that they are, whether they were low income or not.
Is there a way to do that? I mean, it's ideally you could pull it by zip code. Is there a way to do that?
The schools that the students go to.
Even better.
Or the schools that the kids go to from our districts?
Yep. So we are able to pull information by zip code, and that's how we got our data here today for the 347 employers who applied to partner with SYP, as well as the current 1,600 young people enrolled from your districts.
So would you be able
There's
to
just
provide?
there's one qualifier that I wanted to add to that. And that one qualifier is the issue of student choice. Because while a student may live in a particular community, they do have the option of basically applying anywhere in the system for their job placements.
Which is why the zip code they're applying from would be
The
helpful.
zip is the most important. The zip is the most important variable in all of this.
And I think another question that we had is, though, it's twofold. We are talking about the youth that apply for summer youth, but we're not talking about the employers that sign up for this program. So are we able to understand who from our district or our area code did apply for summer youth employees and actually got them? Because it's twofold. If we have a need that needs to be met, and also vice versa.
Right.
Because we could also be promoting more children, but also promoting more businesses within our district and our sector to make sure that we are at the utmost to receive those children that may possibly need works. We are aware that Harlem Hospital is in our area, so is a branch of the YMCA. But what is the breakdown? The YMCA of Greater New York is very vague. It's very vast. We're talking about the Harlem location. We're talking about the Upper West Side location at 63rd Street. We're talking about the Bronx location. So when you talk about the YMCA of Greater New York, what is that breakdown? How many of those individuals actually come to 135th Street or actually go to 59th Street to there? And where that both fits our service area, we would love to know who is in District 10.
Right.
Yeah.
Specifically, it's a great point. Like the Harlem one, they do a big summer program. It would be great to know how
So
many.
the key issue on our end is identifying point of residence. No matter where they are in the system.
Just to touch
Because
on,
then it becomes the degree of investment made in Harlem youth by catchment area of your board. Am I correct?
I just want to make sure I have everyone's question. So I want to start with I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name. I want to start with your question about the work sites. So all of these work sites, including YMCA, the ones that we're presenting here to you today, are zip code specific. So we're and I'm sorry I didn't make that clear. We're not going to include any work sites within that number that is outside of the zip codes of Community Board 10. And those zip codes that we are specifically pulling this data from, that's going to be 100, 26, 27, 30, and 37. So rest assured, all of the work sites that you saw on that screen and all of the 347 employers that we mentioned, they're coming from those zip codes. So I hope that just provides some clarity for that.
And what company, I'm sorry, Dior, and what company are you referring to? I know I mentioned the YMCA. What are you referring to the other programs as well, as far as Harlem Hospital and those other programs? Am I safe to assume that when you mention YMCA, you are referring to the Harlem YMCA? Am I safe to assume that when you mention libraries, you are referring to the County Cullen Library, the library at 155th Street, the library am I safe to assume that these are the numbers for the area and not an overall catchment number?
You are more than safe. You are correct in assuming that.
Thank you.
Excellent. Dana has a question.
Yeah, Dior, you mentioned that there are 347 employers that have applied to participate. What is the typical yield on the applicant pool? Like, would you expect ultimately to land with like 30, or what does it break down to?
So right now we don't have that information because SYP 2025 hasn't started yet. It starts July 1st. Right now we are just collecting our applications, and then as the summer, so to be clear on that, we're collecting our applications for work sites. For participants, that application has closed. But throughout the summer, we are going to continue collecting worksite applications. And again, that is why I want to just keep iterating that these numbers are preliminary because the program has not started. We are still collecting applications and we are receiving applications by the moment. In our system overall, I know right now we're speaking of the applications that come specifically to Community Board 10, but just as something just to keep in mind, we have over 10,000 work sites in our system from across all 5 boroughs, and that is going to continue coming in.
Okay, so there's no historical data that would suggest that, you know, you have X number of applicants and you typically yield Y participants. That's what I'm asking. I'm not asking about this year specifically.
Oh, yeah. So each year we receive roughly 200,000 applications across the board, and we serve 100,000 participants out of that.
Are you talking about employers, 200,000 employers?
No.
No.
No,
Part-
200,000 participants, students.
Right. My question was, you have 347 employers who have applied. What is the typical yield out of the applications? What would you expect? How many would you expect to actually participate? What percentage?
So I think to answer that question a little more clearly, or to give you the information that you're searching for, it would be in our annual summary of 2024. So that's more of our historical data.
Okay.
And we have an annual summary each year. Following this meeting, I can definitely send you the links to that, and it'll show you exactly how many employers we worked with, in which boroughs we worked with, as well as participant information if you're also interested in that as well.
Yes,
Thank
please.
you.
Yes, thank you. Yes.
Patrice?
Yes, I'm trying to figure out what method you're using to actually track the students within community board 10 that are actually participating in SYEP. Because I noticed that Mott Hall is listed as a high school and community board 10, but Mott Hall it shares a building with a school in District 5, but it is not in District 5, so it's not in community board 10. So I'm just trying to figure out how we're actually tracking the actual students in community board 10 that are participating. Do you have a point person in the schools? Are you partnering with the guidance counselors or the pathways advisors? And also I'm at the Eagle Academy for Young Men of Harlem, and we want to know how we can stop hitting a brick wall with trying to become a career-ready SYEP site. And we're on the campus with Mott Hall High School.
Okay, so the way that we track our data is through zip codes. So for our participants that apply, they're adding in their address as well as their zip code, and that is how from the back end we can pull that data. When it comes to a school wanting to be a career-ready partner, unfortunately, we do have to wait for career-ready RFPs to be available. And when that information is available, it will be public and everyone will have access to apply.
Do you have a sense of when that might be?
No, I don't.
Are you all taking recommendations from people from CB10? Because
Yes,
as
we are.
We have Eagle Academy on the table, we have Tiny Tots and other programs on the table. So are there any recommendations taken from the board?
We would encourage them to
Maybe
apply.
now, but maybe to bring to their attention when that point comes up.
We would definitely encourage them to apply.
Any other questions? Any other questions from those on Zoom?
Dior, do you mind coming back in September?
Of course.
Once the summary is done?
Yep, that sounds great. And thank you all for just the hard work that you're doing. Even your questions, they are so representative of the work that you're doing and the impact that you're making and how much you just genuinely care about the community that you're serving. It's giving me goosebumps. So thank you. Once from Harlem, always from Harlem. That will forever be me. So thank you again just so much.
Thank you. It's a wonderful
Deanne, thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you very much, Deanne.
We look forward to having you come back. That was great. Alec,
Yes.
before you leave, you were kind enough to send us the concept paper that DYCD has been let already.
Campus partnerships.
And we've made copies for members of the committee and the community. We were hoping, we obviously have not had time to look at it in detail. We will probably do that over the next months. But if there's any highlights you could provide to us.
It's a very important time to revisit partnerships and to expand the base if at all possible. Given the climate that we have, we're fortunate in that we've gotten, budgetary allocations that have been promised yet not agreed upon yet. It's not final, but we are planning for an expansion of campus partnerships. And as you know, that is the bedrock of a lot of after-school programming. It's not just in school, it's also out of school and after school. That RFP, when it's released, we have to really work hard at making sure that we hit every single organization and every single community board with a very, very clear focus on community-based and citywide.
Well, listen, we're,
So that we are able to strike some balance that has, residual impact that hasn't been quantified yet.
right. We clearly, are excited about this RFP. For a while, our issue has been a lack of funding in after school, out of school time. And this past
Absolutely.
September, this past September, when families came back to their schools in Harlem and family had no after school programming, it was crazy. We're still dealing with the repercussions of that. And one of the things the community board and our committee thought that it wasn't just a resource question, it was a lack of what we thought was a lack of coordination between the state and the city. And we called for,
Correct.
we made a request that you guys somehow come together to look at it in terms of equity and diversity and across the city and the state. And so that's what our hope is. We will basically call for that again, but we think you guys have a unique position to basically look at coordination of efforts, so that every community is served in a way that deals with the need. So thank you for, we want to hear about the concept paper. We will provide feedback if there's an opportunity to do that. And
Stephanie, if at all possible, what I'd like you to do is to really make a very, very strong push for the outreach to those schools who lost their state funding for after school, to make sure that they know that this is coming down the pike. And we encourage applications from those sites.
That's music to our ears.
That should be first on the list of who we want to outreach at the school level. Now, we also know that there have been some significant changes in the BOE, and we want to make sure that these kinds of priorities don't get lost in that mix.
We appreciate hearing that because that clearly is a major issue for our community. So thank you. Any comments or questions for Alex?
And the feedback is due by July 11th, right?
The feedback on Compass, yes, July 11th. And that's where the commentary on local versus citywide could be elaborated on.
Okay.
Those types of comments give us a bit of a clearer focus on the value of both, because both have value.
Right.
But over the long run, you want to try to build local as much as possible.
And we're gonna probably add about the ACS vouchers, which is one of the things that kind of came up in our.
Would that imply for D1CD if it's free?
It's free.
You don't need a voucher.
Getting the parents. We'll talk about that.
It's a big
Oh, I
thing.
know.
Yeah.
I'm hearing about this at City Hall.
Yeah.
That was what we
Because they
thought,
lost it, yeah.
that became one of the, Alex, we're talking about the voucher system. It became one of the options for parents, and we actually had principals walking parents through application system, going down to ACS, to help them do it. And it was, it's just insane when you think about it. It's sort of like this.
But you know what? That's the intervention that makes all of the difference. So that not everybody is looking at a school as, part of a constellation, but a
Right.
school around its individual needs with its individual profiles.
There we go.
Right.
I do have a question. I'm looking at your paperwork and I noticed that it starts at kindergarten. Has there been any conversation for those early childhood years? So they have universal all for 3K and 4K, but what happens with our parents is that for one, there's no summer programs, so they don't have anywhere for those children to go in the summer. And they're also not given these after-school programs. So our parents who have enrolled their students in 3-year and 4-year-old programs, they're having difficulty because there's no continuation after 220. So has there been any conversation to extend this program to include those 3K and 4K for all programs?
That I am aware of, no. And as you know, there has been a subject of great debate around the ACS roles and the HRA roles. And those are separate contracting universes from what we do. Does it have value? Absolutely, because continuum of service is important to families. I would say that, you can put that forth in your commentary as a policy recommendation. I would encourage you to do that.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
Early intervention for us becomes almost critical.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And then
Especially
Alex,
with the paucity of seats that we have today, parents are feeling that.
Yeah. Alex, I haven't gone through it yet, but have you guys figured out a way, because another thing that came up with our providers was the payment system and how our providers are paid. They can't afford to wait a year later.
Passport, that's a bottleneck. And
Yeah,
being able to get, so they give them 50% now. At first they said it was 25% that they got up front. Now it's 50% that they get up.
If you get approved.
And then they have to they basically have to pay for everything on their own and then hope to get reimbursed.
Or hope that they have partners that wait for the check.
Yeah.
And they might lose staff, they may lose all kinds of.
It's really hard for smaller.
So a lot of it is just well-funded organizations.
I think we all know that the whole issue of timely payment has been a subject of how many task forces right now, over the course of the last 5 years that I can recall.
Oh, Alex,
While there have been minor changes made, I know that we have, at DYCD, we have a very, very clear mandate to get money out the door quickly.
Yeah. Alex, I was saying, I was giving you a hard time, because I was gonna say, I think my first task force was in 2005. And prompt contracting remains a critical issue for organizations. When I looked at that.
I remember the struggles you had with the Human Service Council when I was at United Way, trust me.
Thank you.
I do remember those days fondly.
Yeah, but we know.
Now not for nothing, Stephanie, but the value of that partnership was the fact that the partnership of the BOE and United Way allowed for quick access to cash advances.
Bridge money.
All right.
Absolutely.
And we were able to get programs started on time and quickly. And that was critical for the small providers to survive.
No. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened to those initiatives, but when I looked
I
at
think
the
we all learned lessons back there that have application to today's scenario.
Yeah.
well, I mean, you look at the not-for-profit sector and how organizations have shrank because of contracting issues and concerns and fundraising issue. If you don't have,
Absolutely.
if your contract, when you sign your contract, and you may not see dollars flow for 6 months to a year, you still got to pay bills. So unless you got an endowment or you got a healthy, hello, that hasn't changed. And I know that's
you see, that becomes the double-edged sword, and that becomes the obstacle toward getting smaller organizations that have great value into the mix.
Yeah.
Right.
We don't have that kind of cash when we're a small agency.
Nope,
Right.
exactly.
It's funded.
It's not
Um,
easy.
when are they anticipating releasing the RFP? And is that a
Probably within the next 2 to 3 months. You know, once we get a budget finalized, we'll have a clearer picture of that.
It coincides with the city council budget.
Yeah.
And is NAB reviewing these RFPs?
Pardon me?
Is the Neighborhood Advisory Board reviewing the RFPs?
The NAB is gonna be involved in doing some level of review. I mean, we're all gonna be involved in review to some extent. Everybody is.
Okay.
There's various tranches and.
Do you have other recommendations?
Well, as the
I'd
chair.
like you to put them forth if you have them, okay?
No, it's okay, it's okay.
Alex is laughing.
We'll take care of it, don't worry.
Guys,
I know you will.
Yeah.
Alex, thank you so very much.
Thank you.
This was great. It was worth waiting for.
Stephanie, I apologize for this being a long time coming. It's a pleasure to see you and meet you and to meet the staff and all of the community mentors that we have that assist us in everything that we do in local neighborhoods, okay? You guys are a treasure, and anything that I can do to advance the work with you, I'm able to do and will do.
We appreciate that, Alex, because we know you're a longtime soldier in this fight. We appreciate your efforts as well. Thank you.
I got the scars to show for it too, okay?
I just have one quick question.
Take care, Steph. Good night, everybody.
Hi.
But Alex, before you leave, because I don't know if you'll be the one to also address this, but the July 11th comment deadline,
Yeah.
is that something that's put out by them, or do we have that where we can send that?
I can send it out.
Okay.
But it's gonna ask. Thank you, guys. Good night. Just to follow up.
It was a pleasure speaking with you all. Have a nice evening.
Thank you.
To make up Miguel's question,
Bye-bye.
we need to, as members of the committee,
Yeah.
we need to look at it. We
I
need to
have.
do that. Yeah, we got like an out July 11th deadline, so we need to put feedback in, the issue about daycare as opposed to just kindergarten. I haven't looked at it, so I'm not sure what it is, but that whole idea about coordination.
Yeah.
It's not, they cannot continue to operate in a vacuum, not talking to each other.
Yeah.
Makes no sense. So they change the funding structure and and then you don't have an RFP for 5 years. Hey, listen, Harlem grown. If I hear Harlem grown one more time, say, when can we get in? They have been serving our community, and they can't get funding. They can't get a contract.
Are you
No, I'm
serious?
serious.
So asking for a lot of money from small
Yeah.
schools. They're supposed to be trying to, cause I ain't even got 30 kids and they
If
ask
there's
me
no
$500
RFP, they
per
can't
child.
apply. If there's no RFP, they can't apply.
Cause I was holding someone.
And the way
that
I
was one of
almost
the
wrote
things
him.
that they've been giving the same organizations.
That's what we know.
funds
We need to
over
rescind-
Year after year,
Yeah.
so no more
Yeah.
projects have been able to get in.
Yeah.
So.
And also understanding, guys, we looked at, we have a lot of organizations that come before us
Yep.
every month with great program ideas and great vision and wanting us to support them and getting a city contract. The reality is a city contract is challenging.
Yeah.
And if you heard it, if you don't have a reserve fund.
Right.
And also they require a certain level of teaching,
Yeah.
educational
Yeah.
attainment
Yeah.
for their teachers.
Yeah.
I mean, like I.
Got staff license.
That's something that's challenging for an agricultural program.
Yeah.
So it's hard.
All right, so is somebody gonna communicate, you're gonna send out like how do we all give you a feedback kind of type thing?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
as the chair of the Neighborhood Advisory Board for this district.
Yeah.
Yes, I will do that. And that was one of the things that I love that when I wasn't chair, there was no RFPs. But anyway. But when we did this years ago, it was the same, it was like the same 10 people. So one of the things we were working to do was, we did a nonprofit fair. So people can kind of understand, we didn't know, nothing was coming down the pipeline, but we just wanted them to feel comfortable interacting with DYCD, so we did that, and we want to continue that work. In this next year as well, so.
You can do it.
No, yeah, let me just get to June 30.
And I think the other thing we want to do as I said, every month that we meet, we have not-for-profits coming before us. You know, with great program ideas and, I sit there thinking, I don't know how we can help them. You know, like, cause they think that getting a city contract is gonna be the golden gaze, and I'm like, oh no, that's gonna lead to a whole bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, you have to hire somebody just to
In
manage
fact, it could destroy you.
Yeah.
If you're not ready and you don't have the reserves. And there's no space, I think, to let folks understand that dealing with the cities is not all it's cracked up to be. You need to be positioned and
Yeah.
prepared to successfully deal with the city.
That Ways and Means Committee.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the other thing, is
Those things shut down, the bills don't
starting
get
to
paid.
plant the seed of how important the census is. So if we start now, and of course,
Proactive.
Nate, as the neighborhood advisory chair, I would love to partner with community boards in education, youth and libraries. As we like try to,
That's a necessity.
yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, that's,
I think that there are also organizations, like you said, like look at Harlem Growing.
yeah,
They are positioned for a city contract.
absolutely.
That's right. They got private sources
Yes.
of research. They got it.
Harlem Jets came and I was like, wait, what? You've been in the community for 30 years and
Yeah.
you've never gotten a contract? That's insane.
When you
But they
dig into this
operate
and you
off a
read the
different-
requirements, you're
Then
gonna
you know
see.
how
what
they operate.
You got it.
Okay.
Exactly. It's like, I mean, unless you're big, unless you
Yeah.
got a research.
There's always a reason why people don't come and talk to the big people. Cause they're not ready to hand over
Well,
and to do things
that's the whole
the
thing.
right
But
way.
there used to be,
That's
like, I'm a
They don't have
dinosaur,
it.
but there used to be foundations that basically knew it was important that the organizations serving folks in the community need to be of the community. And there were grants and there were mentor programs so that you have Children's Aid Society have to mentor a smaller
Yeah,
organization
contract.
to get them.
Right.
These are not new ideas. They just are not. You're not making this up. They just don't exist anymore.
And
That's about
technical
20,000.
assistance.
Yeah.
Right.
Technical assistance.
Grant writing.
And there's also just a real reluctance to fund anything that happens in schools
Spiritual.
among the private foundations.
Yes.
So-
The spiritual.
Why?
Because of
There's a school budget for that.
Yes, it
You know,
is.
that's the
And
idea.
if they're not using it.
You know, and the thing that bothers me, and I'm just don't know if I'm gonna get off my soapbox, but the thing about after-school funding is that there was a major transition. You had not-for-profit organizations who ran after-school programs. New York City Mission Society, Medicine were just part of them. The state decided with Pataki and George Soros money to shift to put it in schools. And so the not-for-profit organizations were not receiving funding because the money shifted to the schools. And then after how many years was that program was maybe 10 years? They 10, 15 years, they changed. And the funding formula changes. And none of us working in the schools or working in those not-for-profits were positioned to figure out our world has changed, our universe has changed, and you may not get any money. We were so not prepared for that shift. And
Here we are again, all over.
yeah. But I'm still hopeful, because I think, I think that I'm hopeful that, listen, we fought real hard for this after school. We met with anybody who would meet with us. We put on T-shirts that said support after school funding, went to the African American Day Parade.
Yeah.
Anybody who would talk to us, we talked to, and it started to feel like no one was listening. And we were frustrated, and then it was Zelnor basically said after school program for all, and we got, okay, well, this is interesting, yeah, let's bubble it. And then Adams announced this concept paper is about after school programs for all.
Yeah.
And our goal right now, we're still meeting, we want to have a meeting with the mayor's office.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that the voices of folks who are on that coalition basically could feed into
Yeah.
what parents need, why it's important. And so we're hoping that we will have a meeting before the end of the year with the mayor's office.
How about right now, because the budget, the city council budget is done at the end of it, is on the 30th.
I know, they're putting us off the way listen, we couldn't get a meeting. We've been asking for a meeting with DYCT for 6 months.
Well, Mari made
just-
me talk to the DYCD commissioner and actually put me on the email with him today, so.
Yeah, we've
Well-
been, so it's taken time, but the issue, and people kept thinking, it
Yes.
can't be political. So we're not gonna meet, we don't want we can't make it a campaign issue. But if the mayor has basically put the dollars there, we want to make sure that they come to where they need to come to, and that our voices at least heard. So we're excited. It took us a year to have this meeting. But for me, it sort of validates who we are as a committee and a community. I'm listening because so how do you guys, those were the best questions ever. That was impressive. So they know if you come this way, there are real questions. You know, we're not just sitting around going like, you know, it's nice. This was tough. This was tough.
Yeah.
And I'm really proud of this committee. But it's taken us, you know, a while to basically figure out who our partners are. DYCD is a critical partner for us. We need to be in their face and they need to be at our table consistently. The School Construction Authority, we need to make new friends.
Yeah.
Okay, these need to be our friends who answer our phone call.
Yeah.
Not like, you know, put us on an email, but those are the kinds of relationships we're trying to build. Because we think they're critically important to advancing this sector.
And it's
in our
also, last year we asked them for data. So this year they came with data. So
Yeah.
we pushed it.
Great. So moving the agenda along, I think we have one more presentation.
No, I myself.
Yeah. Yay.
All right. Here. Good evening, everyone. Oh, you want to go there?
Yeah.
Okay. My name is Nancy Persala, and I'm the program manager at Manhattan Staten Island Area Health Education Center, which is also known as MSI EHEC. We are part of 9 New York State locations, and we have 3 locations in Metro New York, which is Manhattan, Staten Island, Bronx, Westchester, and Brooklyn, Queens, Long Island. And students who reside in Manhattan or Staten Island. But for students, they can go to school in these areas, or their residential location has to be within these catchment areas. We are on a mission to improve healthcare access and equity in underserved and disadvantaged communities. And we're located, I know you were talking about WeWork. I'm not sure if you were talking about the one on 126.
Yes.
That's where we're located.
Oh, if we had known that, we could have had this meeting in your office.
Not big enough. Yeah, well, it's just me and my center director, Miss Felicia Stevens. She's away for our national AHEC organization conference in Kentucky, but I just wanted to let you guys know that we're out there. We're providing these 6 amazing programs. One is our summer health internship program, which we provide to high school juniors and seniors, and college freshmen and sophomore, where we place students. It's an annual 6 weeks program during the summer where we place students in a clinical setting, which is located in underserved communities, so that they get that exposure, the diversity, what it's like to be working in disadvantaged area. So they're exposed to them, and we also have guest speakers who come in to talk about different healthcare professions, their journeys, share their insights with our students. Another program we have is Healthy Communities Internship Program, which works alongside our other community health experience program. So this is similar to the summer health internship program, but it focuses on non-traditional pathways and non-clinical settings. So we work with sites who are focused on infant and maternal mortality or opioid and drug overuse, all of those sort of things. And so it's similar to the SHIP and HCIP, that's what we call. And the community health experience works hands in hand with the HCIP, but it is primarily focused on NYT College of Medicine students, second-year medicine students. 4th program we have is our NERA Med Prep program, which we provide to college sophomores, juniors, and seniors who are interested in entering med school. So it's a 3-year long program. We prepare them for MCATs and different classes that they'll encounter during med school. And so just getting them trained that this is what you're entering into. 5th program we have is our AHEC Scholars Program, which is for any student who are in their last 2 years of their college or health profession degree.
So this could be optometry or public health student or I'm forgetting many of them. But it's a 2-year long program where students have to fulfill 40 hours of in-person training and 40 hours of online training. And these in-person trainings have to be in medically underserved communities. And at the end of the year, they get stipend for fulfilling these hours. And our last program, which is my personal favorite because I was a public health student and I went to CUNY SPH. So yeah. That is opioid prevention and education program where we provide educational and trainings to young adults, young students and adults. We schedule these based on their availabilities. We table them. We have a certified Narcan trainer who comes and teaches these individuals to how to use naloxone spray. And, they provide them skills to potentially save a life. And so we're working because this has been an epidemic and very serious issue since past couple of years, and the numbers are not reducing significantly as we hope to. So this is a small step in bringing those numbers down.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you. Question, how can we be helpful to you?
Connect us with schools, connect us with clinical or non-clinical settings. Right now, we want our programs to be not advertised, but promoted as much as possible because it's very important. Not all of the students are receiving these kind of programs, and our main focus is on these communities, especially given the times we're in right now. It's very difficult. So it's important that we get hold of these students and let them know that they were here. Any kind of resource you need, we're here for you. So yeah.
How are you funded?
We're funded federally and statewide. State. I just joined 6 months ago. I only cover the programs aspect. My center director does fiscal work and everything.
And do you partner with Harlem Hospital in any way?
We do.
Okay.
Yeah, we do, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's the youngest age of students in the program?
We have high school juniors and seniors, but we also partner with Tura College of Pharmacy. And so they usually have these annual pharmacy day programs that they like to call, where they expose middle school students to what it's like to be in a pharmacy, or like learning how to give CPR and all of those trainings.
Yeah.
So all of these are advertised on our website, and we send an email blast as per. We're not close to other participants, but our program focuses on the high school juniors all the way to medical school students. Pre-med students.
Currently, how many students do you have in your summer program?
The one so for our summer health internships, we have 17. So we usually have 20 slots available.
Okay.
Some of our students dropped out, and then we also had issue with DYCB in terms of like application. Yeah, the application, as per my knowledge and whatever my director shared, the application portal closes sometime in April, but because the ITE added their process early on today, so we had to close it in like February. So we were not able to provide enough funding, or like our students were not sponsored much. So.
What are the basic requirements, or the minimum requirements for entry into the summer health internship for juniors?
So we start, are you talking about age requirements?
No, so is there GPA? Do they have to write an essay?
Yes,
What
they
is
do.
the,
Right, and we have to write 2 essays. One is why are they interested in pursuing healthcare careers? And then we also give them a list of careers that they might be interested in. And so they select their top 3 interests, and they have to write why they selected those interests. So those are the 2 essays. And then they have to give 2 letters of recommendations.
transcript?
The stipends, the medical stipend.
So for summer health internship, we have, I think, don't quote me on it, but I think it's about 1500 to 20,000, somewhere in between. But our Healthy Communities internship program that I said works with CHE, which is the Community Health Experience. So those students, the CHE students are funded and sponsored by NYIT. But for HCIP, we're still looking for funding. And so this year we are not able to get any students because that was one of the main issues, that they were not able to get stipend. So we didn't get HCIP students, but CHE students.
And how do you guys usually promote in the community?
So I do my best to reach out to people through the cards I provided. We do tabling, we go to recruitment fairs and enroll these people on our email list. And then I just send out blasts about upcoming events, newsletters.
I would offer a table or something at Harlem Week. I know Harlem Hospital does little fairs and stuff, so just
Yeah.
offering that.
If we had management, we would check also offer you outlets, so reach out to the community.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like 4,000.
And we have a Health and Human Services.
I did attend.
Oh, you did?
Excellent. Wonderful, great, that's good, that's the way to do it.
Like through the schools, I think. That's, I mean, do you want?
That's partnership. Yeah.
And the parent coordinators work
Absolutely.
all year, so you could actually start reaching out to the parent coordinators over the summer
Okay.
to start getting on their calendars. I know my parent coordinator is actually calendaring out parent and family events through January so that she can provide that information to families as soon as possible. So definitely it's a reach out for the summer.
Absolutely, yeah. So I'm very new in my role, so I would appreciate any support and any advice you have to expand the organization, get the word out there, and keep doing what we're doing.
Perfect, and you're welcome at to our meetings anytime.
Yeah, this was actually, yesterday was the first time I attended a community board meeting of my life. But
Welcome to the
it-
camp.
and
You did well. You did well.
Yes, you did.
Yes, but thank you, I was listening to everything and I really thank you from bottom of my heart that you guys are doing some positive impact and just getting people's communication and doing something about it. So thank you very much.
You're welcome, thank you for being here, thank you. Two committee members have joined us, and so I'm gonna ask that they introduce themselves.
So your cards went this way.
To the table.
Sorry,
Here's your cards.
uh,
They made their.
since I was invited to the table. That was okay.
No, this one, I want to come to the table. Eliza Saunders, Community Board 10. I'm on the Education Committee as well as the Arts and Culture Committee.
Wonderful.
Okay.
And we have a returning star. Hey, I'm gonna embarrass her. But would you please introduce yourself? And then I'm gonna talk about you.
Hi, everyone, Janisha Metcalf, good to be here, Langston's mom. What am I saying? I'm back.
You're back, you're back.
Your committees that you're on.
Well, I'm gonna talk about what you did before.
What committees are you on?
You sort of really set a standard. I wanna ask Dana and Kamara to talk about the school visits. But I wanna. When I first became chair of this committee and started working with the schools, the first thing that they wanted us to help us with was a toy drive that they were doing. And Sharice and I spent probably 2 weeks wrapping individual gifts in the district office, thinking there has to be a better way to do this.
Yeah.
This is so not cool. And you should, like, wow, blowing up footballs and soccer balls. And we struggled to get toys. And that's when we met Janisha, her first go round on the community board, who totally transformed that effort. So what was that presence, and everybody knew what they were, it was boy present, girl present, became Santa Wonderland.
Yeah.
With balloon arches and Santa Claus.
Yeah.
And gifts for not just elementary school students, but a real move to give gift cards to middle schoolers and high schoolers, so people forgot. Everybody wants to do the big shiny truck and the stuffed animal, and these kids got forgotten, were forgotten. Janisha set the tone for that. One of the initiatives that she did was and a cocktail party event where people were asked to bring gifts for Community Board 10's toy drives, which set a tone. I think Cerise then did the same thing. And we increased our gifts and our giving. I think that first year we may have served maybe 250 kids. We went to 700 kids.
Yeah.
And
Come here more.
But wait a minute, but the downside of that is that you set the standard
Right.
so high, is that folks thought, wow, this community board can deliver. It's like, so let's ask them to help us with school construction. And I have to say that Sharice came on board and she and Asena, a former board member, basically took over working with, and we all adopted a school. We all had a portfolio of schools that we had to work with. I think they thought we were stalkers. That we were calling them every day, did you get that application in? And I'm gonna leave that to Dana and Kamara to talk about the school tour visit. My point is, we're only as strong as the folks in these seats, as our committee members. We created value. We have created a reputation for being able to deliver, and we were only able to do that through our committee members. So I thank you guys. Having more hands, doing more work, increases our value to the community. So that when they think of us and they think of a project, they come to us. Can you help us with after school funding? The Guggenheim wants to bring 250 kids down. Can you sit in a task force? And we've been able to do that. And we, as I said, we could not do it without your efforts. So thank you. And with that, I'm gonna ask Kamara and Dana to talk about our school visits.
Yes.
Take it away.
Great, yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna just look at some slides. So, we had 6 people from, the committee who were able to make the school visits on May 22nd. We had a half day, basically. We got there around 9 in the morning. And then we met up afterward. We split up and we went to 4 different schools. And
My God, that's a good one.
yeah, we're not in the, I'm like tap dancing until we get. That's good. Yeah, I do.
Don't be laughing.
That's okay, we're getting there. So we all came away, I think, that those of us who went to the lunch, where we gathered after we went to the schools, and Mari was there too, and Eliza, Catrice, and Cherise, and Stephanie, and Kamaro, and myself. And I think this word kind of summed it up, that we felt very kind of positive and optimistic about what we saw. And this was by design. This tour was organized by Maribel Ferreira, who works in the district office. And,
Yes.
you know, it was definitely, a focus accentuating the positive sides. And we did see needs. I think we didn't have a debrief about it, and I'd like us to talk about it a little tonight. But overall, I think we all came away with like having had a really positive experience. Can you go to the next slide? This is just something from the wall at the school that I visited, County Cullen School.
That's what before.
So these are the schools that we visited. There were 2 upper schools and 2, elementary schools. And in every case, I think the principal was present. I know at County Cullen, there were also the community education coordinators. And there was one, the parent organization president and the incoming president, who had herself been a student at the school and told a very emotional story about their family's challenges and how the school had helped them. But so we did get like a 360-degree perspective. And everybody else who attended, I hope you will chime in, but we were asked not to take pictures of the students for obvious reasons, but this is at County Cullen, there is a room that's occupied by Partnership with Schools, which is a nonprofit. They're embedded with the schools, and this is the social emotional learning space. Those are weighted stuffed animals like Huggables or whatever for comfort. We tried some social emotional learning exercises that they do with the kids. So these are SEL folks, social workers who in this school augment I think it's one school social worker that they have. And I don't know if anybody else wants to comment on that SEL part of, yeah.
Share at Frederick Douglass, there was an emphasis on a program called Crazel.
Yes.
They put a lot of time and energy in. I don't know what the acronym stands for anymore. I don't have my notes in front of me, but it's one of the signature programs there. And they had a specific space that was similar to this that had some meditation areas and other kinds of things that was staffed by one of their counselors. The counselor actually was not present. I think she was managing a student-related situation. But we got a chance to talk to some young people who kind of are ambassadors in the school, and that was really wonderful. And I would just say, just to reference the optimism on the first slide, it felt to me like a very joyful place. We had an opportunity to look at one of the mentoring programs also, where the older students were kind of leading a restorative circle with some of the ninth graders. I visited a high school, Frederick Douglass, and it was really a wonderful experience. I would say again, kind of like what you were mentioning, a lot of it was, positive forward kind of. I had an opportunity to speak to some students about what they needed. And I think, they were very excited about their experience. They didn't share much in terms of the needs, but it was nice to just kind of be there and be live. I think that was one of the major points of the experience, was to be there and see it.
Yeah, because when you see it, you really get jazzed about it, I have to say. I mean, the school that I visited, County Cullen, was the principal there, Principal Acevedo, has been there for 4 years. And when she got the school, it was in receivership. So that means they were doing so poorly that the state had taken over the school and they are out of receivership. But
County Cullen.
I just told you that the charter school went upstairs and took that school out of business.
no, the charter school that's in that school is not an elementary school. It's a middle school.
I'm just saying, I went to County Cullen, I live
Yeah.
right across the street.
Yeah.
So in the transition,
Oh, that's the thing.
when he left them and came here, he left the school. If you know anything about County Cullen, that is where Harlem Children's Zone started. That's where it lived. County Cullen Literacy Academy, that's where it came from. Once that transition happened in 2005, and they moved from 143rd in the heart of Harlem and came over here and changed that vision, it left all of those programs at the wayside. So they were only left to do the next best thing would be to jump on to the charter schools to come in and take up that space because they had lost all of their children.
Yeah.
So now, not only did they lose their children, they lost that program that was also funding and fueling the community.
Yeah.
So when they moved it from 143rd Street and 7th Avenue and brought it to 125th and 5th Avenue, it left the masses of individuals that it was set there to serve and where it started. So now we're at this, and I'm a part of NYCHA. That's my community school. I work with Acevedo. I do a program every year to go back and give the children as they leave
We have to talk.
bathing suits and things to be nice because the parents aren't there. My mother went to 194.
Yeah.
I went to
There's
194.
a lot of intergenerational.
So
Damn.
4 generations in, to see it lose its umph where everyone went there or 123 and that was it. To now we can't find our children, it's sad.
But I will say, 4 years in, I feel like
She's doing her thing.
she's on fire.
She's doing her
augmented
thing.
with lots of nonprofit partners. Harlem Grown has.
She's doing her thing. Well, she picked it up, baby.
Yeah, anyway, so I don't know can anyone reach the thing to go to the next slide? Thank you.
Miguel, hey,
Okay, okay. So I just wanna, this type is really small, but I just wanna, these are just a few of the highlights. I asked everybody who participated in the tours to send me their feedback. I heard from some people. And these were some of the highlights, the themes. So the idea of wraparound support, that you're not just educating the students. And I think this is, we've heard about this from, from people in other schools as well. But you know, you have to provide food, you have to provide clothing. We've helped get a washing machine in
Yep.
somewhere.
Absolutely.
You know, there has to be support for parents. We need after school programs. So as we think about our role, the idea of that wrapping around, like you're talking about bathing suits, could play a role. Attendance, we've all heard in these meetings throughout the year that attendance is a challenge across the system.
Yeah.
At one of the schools, attendance mentors, and this might be happening at more than one, but the staff have assignments of pods of kids. They are attendance mentors for them, and if the kids don't show up, they're calling, texting, in some cases, actually going and looking for them. This was just a quote from somebody who shared the discussion about AI and its use in homework support and assistance was stimulating. I actually learned something. This was another theme. This is just an example from Thurgood Marshall Academy. The visitors saw a sense of community and belonging and witnessed student engagement. Somebody described Fred Moore Elementary as having the feel of a hug, which I thought was really nice. The robotics, I think that was at Frederick Douglass. While watching robotics, I loved that students looked like they wanted to learn. I saw how they liked to be challenged. And then we met after for a kind of debrief, and Dr. Davenport, who's the superintendent, was there. And he described the fact that about a month prior, there had been a group from downtown who had been invited up to tour the schools and see best practices. And this quote kind of stuck out for me. He said, Harlem was never a place you went to learn about best practices, but a month ago that happened. So I thought that was interesting. And then the last one is social emotional learning, which we've already talked about. If you could go to the next slide, please. So I stole, oh, well, this is just another picture. I didn't have many pictures, but I loved this. This was again at County Cullen. This was like in the 5th grade. It was a language arts class. And one of the things I thought was, not to go on too much about County Cullen, but we visited an English class where there was like I think it was a 1st grade class, an English, they were having an English reading lesson. And the teacher called on, the little kid in the front who had their hand waving, and then they called on another kid who had their hand waving. And then she called on a little boy who, it was plain to see, could not read the word that was up on the board. And he's her student, and she knew that he couldn't read it, but she called on him anyway when her principal and her CEC and these visitors from the community board were there. And that really said to me that there was trust between the teachers and the administrators, because she didn't feel like she had to only call on the children who could answer the question. And I thought that was really cool. Can we go to the next slide, please? You can read your own quote, Sharice. This was Sharice's, kind of thought starter.
We should continue to expand our role as a partner, advocate, and support system, helping align the needs with what the community board has the power to do, and connecting them to the right partners and agencies to make it happen.
I love that. Thank you. That part.
That's what I felt when I left.
So with that in mind, if we could see the next slide. This is just to get us started, and we don't have to have this conversation tonight, but when we do our planning with meeting, we left that debrief meeting.
That you use one of their charts.
I couldn't photograph the children who were so cute, so I had to photograph that stuff. I don't know when we're gonna, kind of talk about the next steps for this, but we left that meeting with Dr. Davenport and Dr. DaCosta and other members of the the district, with the idea that we would convene again and talk about how we can help. So we need to put our money where our mouth is, so to speak.
Yeah, I love that.
That's it from me.
Oh, and critical stands for culturally responsive and affirming social emotional learning and leadership.
No, I know
So
what
that's
they want
Dr.
the acronym.
Don DaCosta's
That's a lot.
model, and she's written now 2 books.
Yeah.
So she's getting up there as an author and as a leader of the community, and she's giving them all these cultural experiences like the Guggenheim and the Metropolitan Museum. Well, that was also Dr. Sandy Johnson, right?
But she also put her
So-
word into practice, right? So beyond just writing something down and writing down how she's felt and what she's experienced during this time, she's putting that work into practice, like real time.
And we would be remiss if we didn't mention that while she was principal, like it is living, breathing, existing, and continuing even after she left at TMA Lower School.
Yes.
And so if we really want to see the crazy work in practice from pre-K, right? Then we need to, yes, I know. Then that's definitely a school we need to visit because her work and what she now has in a book, right? That's what's actually exuding through District 5 now. And so when I went to Fred Moore, some of the pictures that I did share were about how they actually have some of the tools from appraisal, right? The mood meter, the classroom charters, the taking a meta moment, that are actually in practice at Fred Moore, and they are in the hallways. As soon as you walk in the building, at this safety agent desk, there's a push button, like the Staples button, but it actually plays and says, "Welcome to Fred R. Moore." Every morning, we ask each other how we're feeling. If you would like to actually tell us how you're feeling, please take, and it give you the directions, and there's a wall that actually, and I'm getting choked up because as an educator, you cannot teach who you can't reach. And when we put this social emotional work at the foundation, we really put the time in, and we see the work that Dr. DaCosta has put in at TMA Lower, you understand why those children are developed into human beings who actually understand how to own, how to honor, and how to control their feelings. That actually, and that presents itself in the classroom, in the instructional space. And so the buy-in that the educators have in these schools, right? And also what gets inspected gets respected. Dr. DaCosta she's going to make sure that I know what it can do, and it's not just gonna be in a school that it has to live and breathe so that all of our babies, right, are actually able to develop and materialize their worth and their potential. And so I know that we want to think about like the work that has to be done. We can look at test scores, we can look at the attendance, children don't come to school if they don't feel a sense of belonging. Children don't come to school if they don't feel a sense of value. And so we really have to, and so we really have to look at where this work is not being done, right? And push for that work to be done, because you can teach a rock to read until they're 99 years old. But with the social emotional piece, once you get into, you put up walls, you don't understand how you're supposed to have self-control or what have you, that takes a lot to undo. So I just wanted to really highlight some of that work that begins when you walk in the building, and families have to feel that, and they have to feel comfortable as well. And so when we're looking at how we can help the schools, let's look at how we can help the schools with the stuff outside of the classrooms. That's the teachers will do that, right? But what do we do outside of those classrooms?
So one of the things that
I wanted
to say that organization that we partner with that school. And so we have a cohort of 25 students that when we talk about outside of just being in the school that have challenges like maybe unhoused or they have, so we do like a monthly program where we send home food like during the long weekends and things like that. And for Christmas, we do a toy drive. And so those are the things that you don't know about. And then we're also working with them to do the advocate
Yeah.
So.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That is so.
Yeah, one of the things, so 2 years ago, we did a Senna. Did a series called Dessert and Discussions at Sugar Hill Creamery. And what she did, which I thought was beautiful, was each committee. She kind of did each committee. Well, it was like public safety, da, 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 da. But we had the education one, and a lot of what came out of it, that had us thinking was even reimagining, to your point, reimagining what this committee is. Education, youth, libraries. So we know what libraries is, we know what youth is. But even with education, that doesn't necessarily mean schools, right? So one of the things that came out of Dessert and Discussions is we gotta get the parents involved. So what education does the parents need to get engaged as far as their children are concerned? So that's one of I'm just soft launching that as we go into our next program here, but
Which is a good segue to the community education, the parent organization, the CB10.
yeah.
They want our representation at those meetings. And so one of the things that I hope will happen is that committee members, Teresa and I are gonna send out a list of roles. One of them is they have meetings every month. We don't expect people to go to every meeting. But if we can basically make a presence there, it talks about what are the parents' issues, because when we wanna call on them to ask them to help us, I think they need to know that we're present there.
Exactly.
I'm concerned about them. So that's one of the things I hope that we'll think about.
Tisa has some, look.
But I was just saying that I love the model that's being presented, but even as someone in the school, I teach children, I don't teach parents. So to your point, educators are good at what they do.
Yes.
Teaching the children.
Yeah.
Yep.
So to that point, if we can internalize those models that are working and that seem to be safe for those communities and engage the parents that way. Because even if it's just a subset of those parents in that area understanding that philosophy and the parents over here understanding that philosophy, what it does is it re-engages our parents. I think because we do have all of these programs that are offered, and I am just on Drew Hamilton's campus with the whole DYC community center with no kids. And then I have to send my staff to other places. Right? And it hurts me because I know that there are children between the community school on Fifth Avenue, 194, St. Charles Barremo, 123. Those are just the 5 schools that I'm around. How is my after school empty? And to your point, no school is offering after school. So where are the children? Right? And then as I serve on PSA and understand that the youngest child being arrested is 11, I get my answer, right? So when we're left to understand what we are to do, we're left at the point where we need to start talking back to these parents. Right? Because the one thing you don't need is a certificate to have a child.
Okay.
Right? However, once they do come here, it is our job as a community, as a village, to help one another. And just like we help console and we help cover up, we also need to help uncover and we need to help awaken some of these parents who have just seemed to just be asleep at the wheel.
And the synergy of this statement that she just made is exactly what I wanted to say about when I first joined this community back in the day, when I was chair of the school leadership team at PS 175 Henry Highland Garnett Schools for Success. We had a Martin Luther King Day event that was to be rivaled. I mean, hundreds of parents showing up to support their students and to support their children. And Mayor David Dinkins and Governor David Patterson and Keith Wright coming to that event. But what we did was we asked parents would they get involved in the schools because we wanted them to be engaged in their children's progress, because we know if parents are involved in the schools, their children's aptitude rises. So we had over 100 parents sign up to be volunteers in the schools. But what we found out after that 100 parents signed up was that parents didn't have their basic needs met. So you had parents that were mostly homeless in a school on a school day while their children are getting fed, and these are the things that we learned during COVID, while their children are being fed in the schools, and because they don't have food at home, because their parents are out looking for where we're gonna live next.
Right.
And so
Yes.
all of those issues are things that we really need to tackle, because we have to understand that our community is not that affluent. You know, it's not, we're trying to get there, but we're not all the way there. So everything she's saying, like everything that we're talking about this table, these are the things that we need to look at going forward. Like, how are we gonna get our basic needs met for our families and for our parents, and parent education programs, you know, respite for parents who are stressed to the core because they can't pay their bills and they're stressed out. And Aaliyah sitting here quiet and humble, but she raised her sister's children because she had to, you know. So I mean, and out of love, but she had, you know, there was nobody else that was gonna raise those children, but you know. So all of these perspectives at this table is what we need to look at going forward, because even parents who are well polished and together, they may be going through domestic violence, you know, and ACS is not always the friend organization. So we need to understand that too. Okay.
Thank you. I'm sorry, who was it? Virginia?
Oh, yeah, just a couple of things. I mean, first, I'm just so energized by being here. It's like, it's back. I had a question and then two comments in terms of the question. I want to understand like how the schools are being selected, what the District 3 engagement has been like, and like, you know, just, is it like staggered, like we're doing 4 schools at a time or 5 schools at a time?
The schools were selected by the district. So
By 5.
yeah, bear that in mind. But we did go in, we had to sort of work with 5 or 3. They were not gonna come together and partner on this. On this one day. So what we said was, we'd like to visit District 3 on a separate day at a separate time. So we'll probably do that in the fall. Yeah.
Tanisha's point is that, thank you, I'm glad you're here. We wanna, there were 6 Harlem schools in District 3. And we have been meeting with the superintendent of District 3,
Kamar Smith,
who I think is incredible.
Yes.
I absolutely impressed by him, but what most folks don't understand is that those 6 schools get ignored for the most part because they're Upper West Side. Okay, they happen to exist in Harlem, not protected by District 5. And so one of the roles that I hope people will look at, it's a Harlem Schools Task Force in District 3.
Yes.
And I'm hoping that somebody will basically volunteer to be our representative there, because we can't let those schools be ignored. We lost one. And that was crazy. That you guys remember this past season, when they were basically based. That was 76.
Yes.
And the superintendent, the people were angry. I want to go to the school that my grandmother went to. I don't want y'all to take that school and make it another school. So it was passionate arguments that people felt about it. But we started to think about it in terms of the number one issue in the community board in terms of district needs was affordable housing. For the first time, I realized how affordable housing is affecting the closure of that school because the kids aren't there. So if you don't have a place to live, you move. You can't stay here. You can't get rent. You move.
Happening across the district.
But even for the unhoused kids, if your shelter is in Chelsea, but you used to be here, or vice versa, you have some kids getting on the train at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Exactly.
Exactly. And I think the other like complexity in our community, and I just want to hold myself accountable for being a part of the conversation, is there is this duality of students with extreme need, families with extreme need, and also extreme brilliance, and students who, I'm like doing 4th grade math and the teacher is ignoring me because I'm not throwing a chair, I'm not throwing a tantrum. And so we have to
that advocacy,
split up, balance it, do it some kind of way, because the unfortunate part is, I go to work, I see these amazing, amazing programs, and I know a lot of the young people that are in these communities won't qualify. They won't meet the GPA requirements. They won't meet the scholarship requirements. We have a program, phenomenal program, 8,000 applications, we only accept 73 students. So how are we pipelining students from our community, our neighborhood, whether they have extreme, need or not, to still be able to be a part of those conversations? So whether that's, like schools used to do Saturday academies, I know some do, a lot don't, like, free breakfast programs, like it really was full scale in terms of my aunt taught math and she would just
teach math to everybody.
she would just be there and you knew that you could go to Miss Adrian from 9 a.m. to whatever time and that was it. Like 180, the yard is open. So you can play soccer, you can play whatever, but you could also be learning math, you could also be reading books.
Right.
I think we get caught up a lot in like, the money, and we do like money. We do like the big splash programs, but it's also like, okay, what do these 10 kids need to get from A to B? How do they get from a 1 to a 2 to a 2 to a 3 on the standardized test scores? And not because those scores are like an evaluation around brilliance, that's like a whole separate conversation, but because there's real implications around funding and around how people are making choices. So a big part of why 76 closed is if you survey the families, like when we were in District 3, you could look at the gifted and talented schools, you could look at a school like PS 87, you could look at 84, you could look at all of these elementary schools and see it was essentially the Harlem brain drain is what I called it. Those kids are from Harlem. They may be at PS 87 because their family doesn't want them to go to 149 or 76, but those are Harlem kids. So, we have to just also like name that as well. And I'll just share one more example. But my husband used to teach at 191. So like art, robotics, he's at 180 now. And I don't know if you remember when 191 started their GNT program, they were sending letters to schools, District 3, District 5, if your student had 3s and 4s, and it was just like, we'll come to our shiny new school. So if you're a parent, you love your community, you love all these things, but you're like, y'all got a rooftop garden over there. Y'all got to, it's just like, we have to address that as well, that it's part need, but it's also like, what do you do with that giftedness? Or what do you do with those students who are more advanced or whatever? Because everyone else is focusing on the need base, I think we got to just figure that piece out.
You got it.
You know what I'm saying?
I understand you, yes.
It's both.
Wish we had it.
It's both and not and or.
Yeah, it's both. It has to be both.
Sharice, and I think,
I'm sorry.
no,
No, I don't.
Oh, Sharice?
no.
Oh, okay.
Sharice, but I thought-
So two things. A lot of the work that District 5 leadership is doing, right, is actually making sure that we're combining resources in schools. So I can say that, for example, at TMA, the AP at TMA will open the doors for Eagle. I would just say right there and say, listen, we have this Saturday program for PSAT, SAT, for Regents Prep. We've actually had volunteers from I'm drawing a blank right now. Let your kids can come.
Yeah.
Right. And so we're really trying to make sure that we're collaborating more. And that comes from the top leadership because they have everyone collaborating. They have monthly meetings for every stakeholder group, right? Which is different. I've been in District 5 for decades. And so this is definitely their brainchild.
Yeah.
And it's making a difference, right? And so because we don't have all the resources that we need in one school, so we're combining. Also, they send out every possible opportunity to apply for a new hydroponics classroom, a new future ready, so that we actually have more opportunities for students to have apprenticeships and internships. They are bombarding us with those opportunities so that we are those shiny spots as well, right? Not just in District 5, not just in Harlem, but within the New York City public school system. So I think it starts from the top, right? And we have great leadership, and I can only speak with District 5. That is actually trying to really change the narrative, right? And because it's real, as parents, you know that you are drawn to the shiny, right? And the shiny can be right here in Harlem.
Yeah.
Right? And so
Yes.
that's why I said also,
Yeah.
what are we focusing on supporting as a community board? Because the teachers are gonna teach.
Yeah.
The district leadership is gonna make sure of that.
Yeah.
Right? So what is it that we're doing to make sure that we're supporting families, that we're supporting, you know, increased attendance? Well, what is
Yeah.
it that we can do that we may not necessarily be able to do within the schools?
Yeah.
Because that's gonna make the difference and make it easier for
Fill the
those who are
gaps.
running the
Yeah.
buildings.
Yeah.
Right?
That was
I think
made
another, what's important, and I wanna move on, because I wanna get you guys, don't leave that shrimp out there. And that.
Oh, don't worry about it, it's fine.
But I've worked with, Dr. DeCosta on several projects now, and, at the Guggenheim, they described her as a fierce collaborator. And she is. The amazing things that are happening in the schools that folks don't get a chance to see. The 1619 project. I mean, Brian Gold, one of the reasons we went to the Guggenheim is that the Guggenheim owns.
Yes.
Tar Beach.
Yeah.
Who knew that? You know, it's there in all its glory, and those collaborations are important. But one of the things I heard her say in one of the last meetings we went to that shocked me is that in District 5, we have more charter schools than we have traditional.
Yeah, she's correct. We do.
That is an incredible statement to make.
Yeah.
You know, that we have more charter school, and this is all about outsourcing government. And so traditionally, District 6 and 4 were the poorest performing, and the way you dealt with it is that you outsource it with charter schools. No other district has the number of charter schools that we have. It was almost like a punishment for the challenges that face the system. So let's not forget that. Like,
Not
this
only
is
that, the
by-
resources aren't spread widely throughout the
Because you're not sharing,
building.
yeah, and you're sharing,
So I can be in a public school.
Yeah.
For instance, 194, HVA is upstairs. Half of 194 don't go to HVA when they graduate, if we're talking about HVA being an upper school. If anything, that should be a segue to have those children into that program or vice versa. That's not what happened.
And I think in our roles, the one was it 154 where they shared the gym? And they couldn't use the gym because there wasn't a divider wall. So only one school at a time could go there in the charter school. All we needed was $30,000 for a divider wall. And so for us, that didn't seem like a heavy lift. We can basically make that happen so everybody
Just
can use it. But you're right, there's a lack of equity. I think the other challenge that we need to realize, in terms of our role, I do believe that it's about supporting families, because teachers do what they do. DOE is a city agency. You need to understand, they work for the city, they work for the mayor. This is a significant change. I'm not gonna talk about my boss, I want my job. So when you talk about what your needs are and what your challenges are, they're not, who's gonna say that? And I'm not saying that mayoral control is a bad thing. I'm just saying that we need to look at it from all sides.
Yeah.
There's a downside to mayoral control.
Yes.
That we need to address as this committee. You know, and that those things I think could be fixed. I like that somebody says I'm accountable. So I wasn't against mayoral control, but there are downsides in terms of feedback, in terms of sharing, in terms of concerns. And we need to be mindful of that as a committee.
Do you think we will do I mean, I know I don't want to break it to anybody's summer, but will we do a summer meeting to prepare for the fall? I feel like it's very.
I think with that July 11th date, right?
So we are known as a working committee, so we usually do, and yeah, we can do it this summer. We do a Saturday session.
We do a Saturday.
This is, yeah, it's right. It's hard to do the work. I mean, we're having a great conversation, but the work needs to be done. So we come on Saturdays, Miguel, so
I was
kindly.
going to cut that off already.
That's why we got the shrimp for you. The shrimp is for you, right? Okay. Thank you. So we, coffee, donuts, boards, things, and we chart out again the year. Our goal is to be proactive. As our chair said, and we know the issues. So the ones that we already know, put them on the board. What else do we need now? We're trying to integrate into how do we engage our libraries a little bit more. My new personal project is, why do my schools not have libraries in them? That's a whole nother situation. But
So
It's beautiful. So
room is
we,
nice, but it's.
it's not. Anyway, so yeah, District 3, getting more involved with District 3. We gotta give them the same love that we do District 5. We do have a good relationship with them. The superintendent has come to our meetings often.
Yeah.
He's great. So we wanna go deeper in that. And then, we've been talking about the attendance issue. What does the community board do? One of the things that kind of came out of our Saturday session last time was, does anyone remember Book It?
Yes.
Yeah,
that's a
Yeah,
long
we
time.
gotta remember. Right, I'm like, put a little age on it. What does it look, can we reimagine that for our kids as an attendance thing, or, whatever. Use our resources, Link NYC. Sorry, I'm on 5 meetings. What am I?
Yes.
Okay. Et cetera, et cetera. But we know the things, so we got after school, capital grants. I don't know if we touched on.
Yes.
We've been stalking the SCA is tired of us, okay? But one of the things, like we said, we want to make it easier for our principals to engage. We've talked to Columbia about maybe engaging with grant writing, like some of the principals don't have time for that. So these are the ways that we can be creative. Now that we kind of see our problems, we have a good hold on them. Now we can be creative about how we approach them. And also, I'm my chair on the call. What is the maximum capacity of community boards in? Like, we need to be in our elected spaces, no offense. We need to understand the agencies, we need to bring them here, right? So how do we intercommunicate with our committees and
Exactly.
join, forces? So
Exactly. For example, economic development.
Yeah.
We started saying, like, when you guys are like liquor license and people coming, do y'all answer who they hire?
Right.
Who
Were they hiring?
That's exactly what it is.
Exactly.
We've asked them now to do that because there are
Accountability.
And
Exactly.
it's also connected. We can't work in vacuums. We gotta talk about.
Right, these youth are your future consumers, if they're not already now. Who needs to hire them already, right? So.
Yeah.
This is where we're going.
Just on the those numbers of defense is that when before Cheryl left, that was implemented where
Absolutely.
we started asking.
Oh, I
Yeah,
know.
yeah, I know. She
That
did.
was great.
We ask in land use too.
Yeah.
And
That
in land use,
conversation
yeah.
in land use.
Yeah.
Also, I have to tell you guys, and we're gonna end this with, I wanna talk about Guggenheim, but one of the things that I think is also an issue that we wanna think about next year is that we did this with the Met and, we got great buses. We didn't get cheap buses. We took them down to the Met in really nice buses.
New York City public transportation?
No.
No.
The bus
go right there. Not for our children, okay? Our kids don't go fast.
They saw those buses and they said, this is for us.
Yeah.
Oh, it was like, our goal was to make them
I
feel
cried.
special, right? It was to make them feel
It's like a
special.
night at the museum.
They dressed as a Harlem night, Harlem Renaissance thing. It's
And
the cutest thing.
Chick-fil-A we knew that dinner, it was around dinner time. The museum wasn't gonna feed us, although we did ask. And so we was stuck with, we wanna feed them.
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A donated sandwiches. We have box dinners for all the kids. We had 500 kids that we took down. This year, when we went to the Guggenheim, we couldn't find anybody to do dinners. And that, again, that was something we had started and, on Madison Avenue, you weren't gonna find no bodega in terms of you're hungry, where are you gonna eat? And so we went to, Miguel and I, we went back to Chick-fil-A. They stopped answering our phone. We went to Shake Shack. We went to some other places and I said, people said, what are you doing? I'm just trying to find $3,000 to buy some chicken dinners for Tar Beach. And the thing for me is that I think one of the things we want to look at, it shouldn't have been a heavy lift.
Absolutely not. Not at all.
It shouldn't have been a heavy lift. And so how do we outreach to businesses to say, we need your support for our schools and families?
Maybe a save a date.
Yeah.
I got
Yeah.
And not wait until, wait to the last moment that we have to do it. We need to figure out a strategy for leveling those resources.
Yeah.
To support.
And get
our
ahead of
schools.
it. So when we call, it's
This is
not.
what we're looking for. and we're
Yeah,
trying to see
we've already
the
been-
date.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
these are the 5 events.
Yeah.
Right.
We can give you some coupons.
Yeah.
Like, no, we need
No.
And it still costs
Yeah.
$50.
That part.
Right.
Like, it's not gonna happen. And I really thought I was gonna have a nervous breakdown. It was like I was stalking Chick-fil-A. I was that guy, he might put an order of protection out on me.
So I'm
But
gonna
They
take, put
they
this
got
on
the
the
picture
record.
up. there.
Right. No pun, do not answer. Do not answer.
For Harlem Little League's closing day, Raising Cane did give each player a certificate for a free children's meal.
Oh,
So that would
Okay.
actually hold the.
That's
children
really key.
I just want to make sure that we put in our agenda.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and that's why I just.
We
want to put it on
build
the
those
record.
relationships.
Yeah.
We don't think about it in terms of
Mhm.
business, but let's figure out how Trader Joe's, let's figure out
Yeah.
how Whole Foods.
Mhm.
Let's figure out those guys have a list of things. This is what our schools need.
Yeah.
This is how you can help us. Sign up on the dotted line.
Yeah, correct.
So with that, Guggenheim.
Child, we gonna wrap it up. I took some kids, me and Lydell. We was on a bus. I was a bus captain. Kids was rowdy. We had snacks. I put them to work. I was like, you want these snacks? You gotta come pass them out. So it was a community bus. But yeah, we went to the Guggenheim and it was beautiful, as I spoke about earlier, just to see our children just like running around, like in this museum. They're being respectful. You know how kids are, they're just like trying to touch, but look at this. Like they're just looking intently and having their little conversations about whatever kids talk about.
When I first saw this, when it sent it to me, it reminded me of the movie The Sir in Love. When he had this little.
Yeah.
It was, look at their
really,
faces.
yeah. I mean, they were into it. They were so into it. And then in the Faith Ringgold piece of the museum, they were building little quilts, like with squares.
Yeah, they got to do one.
Yeah, it was really, really nice. So, when you're working hard and you're on the calls every week and you're running down people to pay for things, then you see this and you're like, I'll run through a wall for these kids. So they were so happy, they were so engaged, they got really good swag. The Guggenheim blessed them with. There was cookies. I think this is where they were doing the
Building their own quilts.
building their own quilt, little
Making quilts.
So it was nice. So, when you're thinking about this community, I mean, this,
Look at his faces.
look at his faces. Look at his faces. When you're thinking about the work and she's like, I didn't ask for it. I didn't sign up for it.
Just like that. That's how, that's totally like.
That would have been it.
This is what it's for. This is what it's for. And one of the things definitely we've talked with Dr. DaCosta about is, our kids don't have to go down to Fifth Avenue for cultural experiences. Because we want them to have it, but we want them to remember.
We here.
We
are
got
for
all the
cultural
things. So we've already gone to look at the Swinging Museum.
Well, we're gonna work with Chief the Apollo. Next year, we would love to do a
It's
family night at the
beautiful.
Apollo.
So these are things, last year when we went to the Met, we did a scavenger hunt that connected the artwork there. Cause there's like a big 4-piece thing. 2 of them were at the Met, 2 of them were at the YMCA on 135th. So we were able to create a curriculum, and this is the importance of community partnerships. We were able to build a curriculum that the teachers could play dossier for a day, and the kids were able to connect, so.
They had collected books.
Yeah.
On the Harlem Renaissance.
Yeah.
And Sharice was able to get them to publish that list so we could share it with teachers in our district.
Yeah, so we partnered with the New York Public Library on that. So, when you're not being reactive and putting out fires, it opens you up to being creative about how to give, our community and our constituents, because these are our little constituents, the best opportunities.
They are.
The best opportunities.
Talk about how sophisticated New Yorkers are. The thought that kids from Harlem have never been in the Guggenheim, one of the iconic institutions, not just in this country, but in the world.
Yep.
It's my
There's
first
no
time in there
excuse for
too,
that.
so.
There's no excuse for that. And so that for us was like so amazing. That it's there for them, and the district and the community.
These are one of the
Made it happen.
these are the quilt little things, yeah. And, again, community partnerships, Stephanie's son, Matt, took the photos. So these are, you know, again, creative. Exactly, right. These ain't iPhone photos. These ain't iPhone photos. Okay.
For the first time, we didn't have to pay for them, right?
Yeah.
It's like the coconut.
Right. And then somebody read Tar Beach to them. It was lovely. So again, you know, we do this work.
Look at us.
We be fighting with people in agencies and elected officials about money and advocating and doing all of this, but it all culminates to these
Success.
moments.
Yeah. Is the goal just one museum a year, or do you do it seasonally?
Well, I mean, this is something new. So
Almost the second
hopefully, I think the city museum is that.
We got 4 seasons. We should be doing 4 museums.
Yeah.
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 But then we should be able to do 2 though, because the studio museum is right here.
Yeah.
So
literally.
although we don't have to leave our community for cultural events, I
Yeah.
think it's important.
Yeah.
for us to-
Do a little bit of, I mean, when we
Yeah.
got to downtown, once it's new, I think they should go when it's new.
And I think we wanna coordinate with the Arts and Culture Committee.
Absolutely,
Yes.
that's the other part, yeah.
Because, you know, the Met and the Guggenheim started, you know, food the district. I think
Right.
that we should take responsibility for making this happen.
Exactly.
Also the Schaumburg.
And the Schaumburg. And the other thing that, again, these partnerships, now we're learning about programs they have. They are giving us first dibs for our children to apply for these things, right?
Yeah.
And looking for our applications when we send them their way. So these are the things that we want more of. And like I said, this is just kind of a culmination of lots
Look at
of
that,
work.
look at
And
that.
I mean, this is
Yeah,
people,
that
there I
was-
go in the
that's my
back.
favorite.
I'm back there. But yeah. So, you know, new members, this is just some of the work that we do.
We were very worried. You know, when you go up that ramp and it's
Yeah.
like, you know, if anybody who has like vertigo or looking over,
Yeah.
we were concerned about, like, we got all these kids running up that ramp, but
They were good.
it was
They were
amazing.
good. They were super respectful. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and we go deeper with our relationship with District 5 as a
Absolutely.
organization that pulls through and can help them. So it's a win-win-win for everyone involved. Oh, look at this.
That's Jordan.
Oh, you know
That's Jordan. Yeah. Students.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Oh, that's one of my students.
Ah.
Another one of my students.
Look at that, look at that. Look at, oh my God.
Yeah, that's
Eagle
Guggenheim
represent.
swagger.
Yeah.
You should be able to do that.
So, questions? Yes.
I'm sorry.
No, it's not, don't be sorry.
I wanted to say,
No.
I actually, just 3 things really quickly.
No.
The first one was, I know you guys were talking about attendance. Have we talked to any of the schools, how the whole, ICE thing is affecting the attendance? For those students and, trying to make those parents feel comfortable that they can send their children to school because, you know, because I know that's been a
What you would
concern.
have to do is organize
And
walkers
that's-
to walk the kids over and parents can't leave the house.
I'm glad you raised it. I don't have an answer. I do know that, there was an ICE presence
She said, I'm not.
when the Davis Center opened, reopened. They had their grand opening and I went and there was nice presence. And so we know in the summer, that pool's been closed for several years, that there are gonna be lots of kids and not-for-profits at that space. I do worry about what will happen. And so, and the issue is, going back to what I said, DOE is a city agency.
Yep.
The policies are city policies. I'm not sure what that means, but I'm very concerned about what will happen this summer. In the day camps, in the pools, and the recreation areas. So it's something that we need to think about and look at. I'm not sure how we respond to it, but I do think it would be, at least need to acknowledge, if you see something, say something. I'm not kidding, let us know.
Different sort of.
Let us know if you see something, because I think we need to figure, at least document that it's happening.
happening more in Harlem, actually.
And how do we promote? So you guys were talking about supporting the schools so that we shine a light on those schools.
Yeah.
I would like to know how can we promote, because just talking about Dr. DeCosta, so I was she was wonderful to me. She was actually supportive
for teachers as well. I did my master program. I did my student teaching with her. And when I went in that school, I was so, the work that is, I
Yes.
felt like I was home in that school. I felt like I was learning about me. And it was just so amazing. She also was able to partner with, I believe it's the Boys and Girls School. So in that school, they have a music studio. They have a dance studio. They have so many wonderful resources in the school that parents don't know about. So when I'm talking to my parents about sending them to these kindergarten and elementary schools, it's the Harlem Children's Zone and, you know, all the schools that, and there's nothing to let them know that these schools are out there. So I think including fostering and supporting these schools is also shining the light on the.
Which was the school tour, which is
Yeah.
the school tour, is
Yeah.
basically shining a light on it, and
And
people know what's going on in the schools, because you're right.
Yes.
Well,
I
that's
don't
it,
know.
right.
And one of the things that came out of our thing last year was also like, what is our communication plan? And I think now that we've been in the schools and it is our job to now amplify that. Like now I just see us differently, but like, yeah, we need to be, you know, teacher of the week on the link NYC.
Right.
Get your name on the Apollo. Like, how do we create ways to
Raise up,
to do
absolutely.
Amsterdam news? Like now now that we're kind of out of like survival mode, we can be again creative about how we amplify it.
And
Yes,
advocates.
absolutely. And
Advocates,
yeah.
our role to be an advocate
Yeah.
in all those circles.
Yeah.
And one last thing, I know you guys were, have you guys reached out to Tiffany Brown from the mayor's office?
Yes, I just put her name down. Yeah,
Okay, cause
yeah.
she always, like if I
Absolutely.
reach out to her, she's done so.
Yeah, so we're working with to get on the calendar
Okay.
to talk
Great.
about after school and what that looks like.
You better be ready. Tiffany gonna say, meet him at the lunch office at this time.
Yeah, no,
She
she
good.
no,
She's one of those.
Yo, she is. She's
He's
really
getting on the
great.
train at 5:45 and meeting him at 5:50. She is just like that.
I love that.
Another point about just making sure that we are publicizing what the schools have to offer. During our visit at Fred Moore,
Yes.
right, I said to the principal there, I said, you know, y'all don't come to the community board meeting.
Yeah.
Right, so I mean, they need to come, right, and speak about their schools, because they are the walking advertisement.
Yeah.
Right, and so I definitely pushed for the principals to start thinking about. I said if it's virtual, if you can't be in person, but to actually, you know, get on the presentation calendar so that you can actually showcase what's happening in the school.
Excellent.
Everyone
And
grab
Maribel
food
said
too.
that.
We just kind of.
So listen, I wanna, so that is, Janisha, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, the other thing that we had to do, when I was PTA president at 180 is get the parents involved in doing like our own little partnerships and whatever over the summer. Because a lot of times what happens, and this is more so in like the elementary school, if you on that waiting list and you don't know, the office of enrollment is a mess. Like they won't tell you that you're accepted. They'll tell you your number. They don't even give you a number. They just tell you you're on the waiting list. And a lot of times for after school and for other things, you need to know what school your child is going to.
Yeah.
So we use the parents to help keep the engagement going over summer, you know, very small, bring sandwiches, barbecue, whatever, just and start to talk to people about what's going on and get it sponsored, like Melba's would give us Boulevard Bistro.
Yeah,
I'm not talking about
Bistro
people actually cooking, but
Right.
you know, people would give us food to just be able to meet. Yeah, of course, yeah.
They're not doing it.
But you know that.
Okay.
I don't
No,
know why
I'm
I'm
saying
doing this, I said doing it.
No, food and the people that are.
Not home cooked.
And not home.
Yeah,
cooked.
okay, I got you.
It's not real true.
People, right.
I'm talking about Melba's to
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
Anything. Not random kitchen.
So guys, listen, it is, Darryl, you wanna say something?
Just one thing.
Okay.
We have we come to our office, we go talk about secret,
What office?
on 120, 35th Street.
What's the organization?
Could I finish, please? I'm British, actually. There you go. Just gonna be headed.
Shots fired.
You came to our office for a meeting
I did.
and walked around. We do productions that have gone to Broadway. Everybody wants to go to Broadway when they can see Broadway quality productions with us.
Yeah.
You know, I put out announcements all the time.
Yeah, we get
And I
them.
got
Thank
does.
you.
Mail.
Yes.
Thank
He
you.
And I
Thank you.
have to hustle for these people to come. And we charge affordable, so I don't use the F word, which is free. Because free means no respect. So for minimal costs, that's what our productions are.
Yeah.
So that's who we are. Right. That's who we are. You Heritage Theater. Now you can Google us. And you go to our website, heritagetheater.org, sit back and enjoy. Then all you have to do, I'm there. Now I'm there almost every day. You see me, I will facilitate, you know, is that not correct, Sharice?
Yes.
So you have another resource at your disposal
135th end.
between 7th and 8th, South of Hall.
Same.
That other-
Harlem Arts Alliance.
That's the other organization.
Oh, Harlem.
New Heritage.
Done.
History.
Yes. That's confusing.
Sorry.
You Heritage Theater is the oldest black not-for-profit theater in New York City. Harlem Arts Alliance is only 20 years old. However, we provide outreach and exposure to artists, aspiring artists, and, you know, aspiring artists is good. That's enough. Because I don't want to be accused of being non-brief.
Thank you, Darryl. Could I have if there are no more questions, could I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?